welcome to Potions and Processing. My name is Raven White, and I'm a traumatized person. I was raised in a religious cult, and it has now turned me into a spooky, creepy adult. Just kidding, I did that on my own. But I really was raised in a religious cult, and I had a very traumatic childhood, which I've decided to now deep dive and tell all of you about, or whoever is willing to listen. I am now 34 years old, but when I was 19 and finally got out of my abusive childhood home, it broke the internet. There were stories about me and my experiences all over the world. Now, at the time, I was not prepared for that kind of exposure, and there was a lot of details that were actually wrong, which was kind of on purpose to protect my identity and the other people involved. And because there were other people involved who were also innocent, I've opted to stay anonymous for their sake because I don't want to out them. They can tell their story when they're ready. But don't worry, I've got plenty of juicy details all on my own. I hope that by telling my story and by sharing all of these details that never made it to the public, that never got to be told, that I can help validate other people who have been through what I have, who didn't get a chance to tell their story, who were not believed when they did tell their story, or who were made to feel like it was their fault. I hope that you can find healing and hope and know that there is a life afterwards, that we can heal and we can grow and we can be pretty cool people afterwards. It's not to say that it's all easy, because it's not. It's really, really hard. It's the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my whole life. But I have built a life I'm really proud of. I have a career that I've built. I own my own company. I run Curious Corvid Publishing, and I represent authors from all over the world and rewrite, you guessed it, spooky books. And I have 4 books of my own: Cry of the Raven, I Am Raven, The Sentimental Dead, and Entropy, Haunted Hallways. How did I forget Haunted Hallways, which came out last year? And Entropy. Entropy, it comes out this year, and it is about my journey through chronic illness and navigating the medical world and trying to find a doctor to believe me. And it's a beautiful combination of body horror and botanical horror mixed together, because being a human is horror, losing your health is horror, and sometimes you just have to acknowledge that things are what they are. So, some fun facts about me, besides being a writer and writing spooky things: I am queer. Surprised? You shouldn't be. The hair probably gave it away. I'm queer. That shows up a lot in my writing as well. I love cats. I play a little bit of guitar. Was in a band way back in the day when I was in college. I love fuzzy socks. But they have to be a very specific kind, because I'm neurodivergent. I'm the kind of neurodivergent where I spent 15 minutes online researching how to start a YouTube channel and then thought, perfect, I am now an expert and know exactly what I am doing. And now here we are. If you're also one of those neurodivergents, hi. I'm also one of those neurodivergents that really struggles with executive dysfunction, where I have things in front of me that I know that I need to do, and it's so simple and it would be so easy to get done, but I just really, really struggle to just get them done. It would be so easy for a neurotypical person to just achieve them and get them: chores, self-care, just existing. Which is hard when you're chronically ill, but taking care of yourself is a full-time job. But nonetheless, we persist, and here we are. But Potions and Processing is primarily to talk about the story of who I am and how I got here and how I have persisted nonetheless, and hopefully to change some lives and make some lives better, and to tell this story that I never got to tell. Because sometimes after a while, it just becomes too much to hold inside. And, now at 34 years old, it's just become too much to hold inside. And sometimes I worry that something will happen and I will never get to tell everything. And I want to get it out there before that happens. Not to be fatalist, but you never know, right? You never know. So as we go through this, I'll make sure that there are content warnings before we talk about anything crazy, so that if it's something you're not comfy with, you don't have to watch and you don't have to listen, and that's perfectly okay. We are a safe space here, regardless of what kind of content that we're talking about. And I also have some resources for when you're feeling certain ways. So some books that I have read that have helped me on my journey that I'll be talking about, which I think can be kind of cool because we like to read, because we write here too. And, I'm open to, questions as well as we get further into the story of who Raven is and how they came to be here. So there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to digest. I made this channel, I created the channel quite a while ago, February 14th, on Valentine's Day, actually. I created the channel on Valentine's Day, but I hadn't made any content, and I was really excited to start making content for it. But then when I got behind the camera, I realized that making long-form content, like just talking to the camera, was way harder than I expected it to be. And I was really worried about not being engaging enough, not being pretty enough, not being funny enough, not being interesting enough to keep people's attention. Like, the first video has to be enough so that you guys will come back, so you'll listen to me. And that fear of not being listened to that has transcended my whole life kind of overcame me in this moment of making a video. And I know that this is not a great video. I know that it's not very interesting, but I hope that it will be enough, that you'll come back and you'll be interested to learn about this religious cult, to learn about this trauma. Because I hear religious cults are trending. Never thought that would happen. Chronic disabilities are also trending. Everybody that I know, well, not everybody, most of the people that I know, that I'm friends with, in their early 30s are also chronically ill or chronically disabled or in some stretch of that. Also queer. Hi. But I was really scared to make it. I was scared of not being good enough. So, and I know that this video isn't good enough, but we're going to just do it anyway. And we're going to hope for the best, because deep down, I know that I am good enough. I know that what I have to offer is good enough. It's just the means of getting there. But it's a process, right? But you have to lay the first brick. That's what I keep telling myself. It's a process. Just gotta buff it out. Anyway, potions of processing, people. Here we are. I am excited to get into it. I'm excited. I'm motivated. We're gonna start talking about everything. It's wild. I've been in therapy now for quite a few years. I was afraid to go to therapy for a while. I was really afraid to unpack everything and get into it. Took me a while to find a good therapist, and I also know that I'm quite privileged to even have therapy. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to start a channel is because I'm alive. And the statistics for being alive outside of domestic violence, listen, the things that I went through, I don't know if you can hear my cats in the back. This is supposed to be a serious moment. I'm sorry. The things that I went through were serious things. They're the kinds of things that you don't typically come out of alive. There was a time in my life when I looked out my window when I was 19 years old and I waited to die. I expected to die. I did not ever think that I would ever leave my house. Did not think I was going to make it out. But I did. And I'm incredibly fortunate that I did. I know that it's a privilege, despite the baggage and despite the hardship that I have. I know it's a privilege that I'm alive, because so many other people don't make it out alive. And even if they do make it out, staying alive is also really hard. And so that's part of the reason why I wanted to start. And I want to talk and I want to tell you what I've been through, even though it's terrible, even though some of it's really hard. Because statistically, somebody that you know and somebody that you love has been through what I have been through. And it's important to know the signs, and it's important to know what you can do and what you shouldn't do and how to handle it. And it's important to know how to advocate and how to change things. because what I went through, no one should go through. And I have to deal with this for the rest of my life. And the people who hurt me are out and living, and I have to live with that for the rest of my life too. So we're going to work through this together. We're going to validate these experiences. We're going to process the crap out of this trauma and become better and brighter. And we're going to stop it from happening to another person. So thank you for sitting with me for my first video. I know that it wasn't great, but it was something. And we're alive. So we may be different species, but we're all part of the same family. So please be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will see you